One of the big principles in humanity, in human psychology, is the power of love. It's not to be denied. Love is definitely a power that can resolve a lot of things and make the soul happy. But love is only 1/4 of the soul. It is not the totality of the soul. Life is more than just love. There is pleasure, passion, power, money, reason, inventions, governments. There's all kinds of things in life. And to think that love is the answer to everything is a very big mistake in the soul. In the 1960s and in the 1970s, there was this creed like the Beatles, all you need is love. Love was everything. It was a love fest. It was a Woodstock. Love, the emotions were flourishing. The emotions were getting opened. But they forgot money. The children of the 60s did not take care of the money situation. They were stupid to business and to money and to home and into rent, and it caught up to them. And all those children in the 60s, when they ran out of money and they couldn't buy drugs anymore, they went to work. And that love became ineffective. You can't turn a world around with love alone. Love is not sufficient. You need power. You need money. You need strength. And you also need the art of war. Sometimes you need to go to war to change things. Love alone can't do it. When a soul relies on its emotions alone, one of 4 faculties, head, heart, animal, and physique. If the emotions alone rule the soul, then it's emotional arrogance. You cannot rule your life by emotions alone. You have other branches that need nutrition and taken care of and growth. Emotions alone do not rule the soul. There were principles like turn the other cheek, which means never be violent, never turn against your enemy, even love thy enemy, which Jesus said. And this stands of nonviolence, wanting to change something without any kind of violence. Sometimes these things are impossible because evil does not repent very easily and takes advantage of this type of a weak situation. And evil can take 100 years to repent or to even realize that it is evil. Are we going to get beaten up for 100 years? There's a situation where love can work. There's reason. We sit at a table, we have a discussion, and we resolve the problems. But sometimes there is no resolution. Often the people who are in power who are ruthless, and they will use any means to remain in power. At that time, violence is warranted and violence is justified. The American Revolution is a good example of that. There was violence involved. There was a war for American independence. There was a war for French independence. There was a war for Russian independence. Love doesn't work in real life. Sometimes you need a war to get rid of evil. If the good is ever to become stronger than evil, the good has to be like a policeman. A policeman has a gun. He doesn't use it all the time. He doesn't use it most of the time. It's very rare for a policeman to use a gun, but he has a gun. And that's why a policeman is powerful. So love is not the answer. It's not the total answer. Sometimes it's the answer, but often it is not an answer, depending on what kind of problem we're having. If the soul is not ready to take a stance to protect its interest and its self-respect, right? And sometimes this requires a war of words, a war of the deeds, deeds that you leave. There's a conflict, basically. There's a fear of a conflict in the human heart. The human psychology is afraid of conflict. It's afraid of war. The soul isn't afraid. Soul psychology is not afraid of war. Sometimes it feels the need to have a war in order to get the good to thrive. Sometimes the good needs a war in order to thrive. Peace doesn't always work. And this is the difference between human psychology, which has failed because evil is still pretty much in power on our planet, right? And the soul has failed. This kind of strategy to depend on love and love alone, to turn the other cheek, to love thy enemy, to have nonviolent means of changing ways, fails in the long run because evil thrives on this kind of strategy from the good.